And like I said, Generation X, we were the last kids of the outside era. We literally and figuratively spent all of our days outside. Today's kids and the kids that came, the generation that came after us, Generation Y, Generation Z, um, they were indoor kids because they did things that was indoors. And I don't want you to think that we didn't play inside. We did play inside. We played video games and things like that. But for the most part, we were outside because everything happened outside. Um, we played games like tackle football. We played basketball on the blacktop. Yeah, we really played basketball on the blacktop. See, now you see kids playing basketball. Everybody's in a gym. Everybody's in the air condition. We played in the heat. And when it was hot, it was hot. And when it was cold, it was cold. And we were outside and we just loved it. But we played tackle football. And even in playing tackle football, I always say, like, as someone who played little league football and I played football all the way up through college at South Carolina State University, um, I think my game really developed on the playground. I mean, that's where I learned my moves. That's where I learned how to catch a football. That's where I learned how to catch and fall because half of football is falling. Most people fall down on the ground every single play. Um, but yeah, that's where my game was developed. I mean, like, I couldn't imagine playing indoors to play football. I mean, no, who does that? We were outside, and like I said, we played. We did everything outside, and we would get on our bikes, we would ride, and even like when I go to my hometown of Florence, South Carolina, sometimes I marvel at how far we would actually ride on our bikes, and it was cool because you were literally on your bike and wherever you went, you came back. And the cool part about it was nobody knew that you were gone. I mean, like your mom knew you were outside. My mom didn't know we rode 5 miles away to the park. But we rode to the park and it was probably dangerous and we could have gotten hit by cars and all kind of stuff like that. But we didn't have to worry about, people texting and driving because there were no cell phones. So there was no texting. So you didn't have to worry about that element. But we did those kind of things and we just really enjoyed being outside. And it's interesting as someone, like I said, I grew up in Florence, South Carolina. It was hot. I mean, like it would be in the summertime, literally 95, 100 degrees every day. And we'd be outside not even caring. Like it didn't matter. I mean, you got your water from the water hose on the side of the house and you might come in the house and eat lunch, but if you came in the house in the summertime, like you literally were in and out. You didn't want to spend a lot of time in the house because some adult might ask you to stay in the house, or they might ask you to do a chore, or they might ask you just to sit down just because you left the door open and they don't want their good air going outside. What is good air, by the way? We never figured out what that was. But anyway, uh, but yeah, it's different. It was Generation X was just very, very different. The one thing we didn't do was there was no lack of physicality. You ask anybody from Generation X, and 99.9% of the people from our generation are tough. We know what it was like to get punched in the face. See, here's the thing. This generation and, some of the subsequent generations after ours, when life transitioned from being outside to being inside on computers and then subsequently phones, there's a lot of kids who didn't get punched in the face. Most kids from Generation X either punched somebody in the face or got punched in the face. And there's a difference because you move different once you punch somebody in the face. You act different once you punch somebody in the face. You move different if somebody's punched you in the face. But you can tell by the way that a lot of these internet people move, a lot of them never been punched in the face because you wouldn't speak as reckless as you do hiding behind a keyboard if somebody had punched you in the face.